Hi, today we're going to take a look at the JBLearning online learning management system that you'll be using for your EMT education at RWJBarnabas Health. We'd like to just show you a few features that you'll be using during class. I have my cursor turned on to this blue circle to help capture your attention and follow along as we work. The first thing you'll do, and you might have done this already with your instructor, is to create your account and apply the access code. You've been given the access code by our staff. It's usually 10 digits or so long. Input that, and that gives you access to this website. Now, it does not give you access to our class. So when you first go ahead and enter your credentials and log in, you will generally see a product here. All right, this is the book that we're using, Emergency Care and Transportation of the Sick and Injured 11th edition. You will not see a course ID here. Sometimes there is an apply course ID button here. Sometimes you just need to click your book. And when you come to this launch page, which you'll come to every time you log in, there's sometimes a gray box here the first time you do it that says apply course ID. Our instructional staff will also give you a course ID. That is what actually attaches you to our course and enters you into our grade book. So please listen for that course ID carefully and make sure you get that entered correctly. All right, every time you go ahead and log in, you'll click this launch button. Takes a second to load up. I'm going to call attention to the fact that there are two tabs open at the top of your screen. Jones and Bartlett recommends that these two tabs stay open. Some people are tempted to close the first one since that was just their login, but their website works best if both these tabs are open and running. This page has a whole bunch of what they refer to as tiles. You're going to notice each one has a blue arrow. This is an instructor screen. You won't have this add activity or resource feature, but you will have this blue arrow. And when you click it, those boxes will drop down. This first one, course files, contains the schedule for the course, our policies and procedures, our skill sheets that we use throughout the class to grade you, and a bunch of other documents, homework things, directions for getting to your homework, some medication protocols that you'll learn about in class from the state of New Jersey. So this is really the files that we want to share with you. This is where they're housed. You'll also notice the next one, unit exams and reviews. We'll point out a couple of things in here as well for you. It lists all the exams. Don't get too excited. They're all password protected. We give you the password on the day of the exam, along with our final, and there's also remediation exams. You have two chances to pass each exam, so if you fail the first attempt up here, the remediation exams are your second attempts. I do want to show you down here at the bottom, there are reviews for each and every exam. We recommend that you use these reviews, print them, look up the information that's on there. They go over all the factual information you'll need for your tests. You can do them in study groups. You can split them up with your squad members, your team members. Maybe each of you works on 5 questions, comes in and trades answers. We encourage you to be creative. Some students use these review sheets and make flashcards for themselves. Do whatever works well for your learning style. Each of the chapters, tiles, has the same things in them, so I'm just going to show you chapter 1 here and go over that. The ebook is where you can read the chapters. There's lots of features in there. They give a pretty good tutorial when you first open it as to what all the features are. You can highlight things for yourself and bookmark things as you go along. The lecture is an interactive lecture. Depending on which one of our classes you take, our traditional EMT classes require interactive lectures from time to time. The hybrid course that we offer requires an interactive lecture for each and every chapter. When you open that, they bring you through a lecture similar to what you might receive in class with a PowerPoint on the board and somebody talking through there. There's some questions that pop up along the way. Now, please be very, very careful when you're working with the interactive lecture. When you start it, you need to go from start to finish. Do not start it and walk away from your computer and come back sometime later. It does not record your score. Do not start an interactive lecture and start doing other things on your computer screen. It will not log your score. They are very particular. The publisher, when this interactive lecture is on, wants your eyes on the presentation and not doing other things. So in order for your grade to show up that it's been completed, You need to go from start to finish with no other distractions or interruptions. The audiobook is great for some students. They have a hard time reading all the material. Perhaps English is not your primary language. The audiobook is a great feature. Flashcards, they're great. Some students love them, some students hate them. We can't tell you how you're going to like them, but if flashcards help your learning, go ahead and use them, but please be patient with yourself. We always give the example that if the answer was vomit and you type the word vomiting, sometimes it'll tell you that you're wrong. And so you have to take what comes up with the flashcards with a grain of salt. These comprehensive and focused slides are exactly the slides that you would see in class, the PowerPoints. Some students like them for review. Some students like to print them. You can go into PowerPoint and print in a notes format, and they like to print that and bring it to class so they can take notes right on the PowerPoint. So we don't mind how you use them. Again, we want you to use the tools that are each one of these tiles to fit your learning style. All right. There's a case study in most chapters. We encourage you to do those towards the end once you've read the chapter. It kind of asks you to apply your skills of what you just read to a certain case of a patient presentation. So read first so that way you can go through there and answer the questions effectively. All right. Again, there's just reading. Again, that's just your book. And then there's a quiz. Every one of our chapters has a quiz that we ask you to take. It's usually anywhere from 10 to 15 questions long. They're short, and again, you have 2 attempts to take those if you don't like your score the first time around. So there's the tiles. That's pretty easy. You'll be able to see your grade book and that your assignments have been completed. Again, I have a few more things along the top here just because I'm an instructor. But I will say that the one thing you want to check out is these Learning Tools tab. You should have that on your screen. And if you click that, there is some redundancy built in where they have their tests and lectures and ebook stuff. They have simulations. If you click on that, these are video cases where they follow EMTs or paramedics through a call. We recommend that you get to that part of your book first, because once you've seen them, you've seen them. So when you're reading your chapter on immunologic emergencies and you get to allergic reactions, once you've read the chapter, maybe attended the lecture, come through here and then watch the video. That way you get a real interactive experience. You can form questions, you can bring them into class, you can ask your instructors, you can ask yourself, what would you do on this call? It's a pretty neat feature. The other thing that you might find very, very helpful here is in the study center, in the assessment. The study center just repeats stuff that you had in your tiles, but in the assessment is this test prep button. If you click that and in turn launch it, I have to click that I want to view it as a student because again, I'm logged in as an instructor. Yours will automatically go to this page and you'll be able to create some practice tests for yourself, which is great. So if you click this first tab up here that says create new practice test, all right, you'll see that there are 6 main categories in here that you can pick test questions from. Awesome resource, especially for the medical unit and the trauma unit over here. Those 2 units have a lot of chapters in them. They're usually 8 to 10 chapters long. They have hundreds of pages of information. Those are the units students usually struggle with the most. So you can check those out. Cardiology can be put into medical. You can create practice tests for yourself along the way. You just select which area you want to do. It'll ask you how many questions you'd like to answer, and then you just click add. It generates a test. They will not be the same questions that you have on your exams, obviously, but they will be very, very similar. So go ahead and use this if that's something that appeals to you. I would definitely recommend, again, during the medical and trauma units that you come in here. Also, at the end of class, preparing for your final or preparing for your state exam, students ask us all the time, how should they practice? You'll see this all subjects up here, and you're going to see, look, 599 questions. So you could really create 6 100-question exams for yourself, go through them and give you lots of practice. On these practice tests, when you get something wrong, they generally tell you the right answer and also where to find it in your book. So that way, if you notice, hey, I'm getting a lot of OBGYN questions wrong, you know that you should go back and review that chapter. Very, very helpful. So I hope this helps get you started with JB Learning and helps show you some of the features that are in here. If you have any questions along the way, email our staff and ask. Even if it's a technical issue, we have technical support representatives that we can contact and get some information if a grade doesn't show up or you're having trouble accessing something. So best of luck in class, and I hope you enjoyed this great learning tool.